single potato slice drops into 350-degree oil, and something extraordinary happens in the next 3 minutes. The translucent fragment transforms into golden perfection. But what you're seeing is actually the final moment of a process that began months ago in a field thousands of miles away. Every crispy bite represents a chain of industrial precision, so complex that a single miscalculation could turn millions of potatoes into expensive waste. Today we're going inside a Lay's production facility to follow the complete journey from dirt to bag. You'll see how harvesting machines process tens of thousands of potatoes per minute, how optical scanners reject imperfect specimens in milliseconds, and why the slicing process requires precision, measured in fractions of millimeters. We'll witness the moment where everything can go wrong in the fryer, and discover why that extra air in your chip bag isn't what you think it is. The harvest happens underground, and timing is everything. Specialized machines dive into the earth, lift entire plants, and dump everything onto a single vibrating conveyor. The vibration does something clever. It makes dirt and stones fall through, while potatoes advance in a continuous stream. During peak season, the pace is staggering. Dozens of trucks follow alongside each harvester, receiving the crop without ever stopping the line. But these trucks don't head straight to the factory. First, there's a critical stop at storage facilities near the fields. Massive warehouses and climate-controlled cells where raw materials wait under precise conditions. Temperature and humidity are calibrated to slow germination and decay, keeping potatoes stable for weeks, or in certain cases for months. We're talking about enormous volumes, areas capable of housing tens of millions of potatoes at once, ready to enter production when needed. Here's where the first real challenge appears. The factory pays for potatoes, not dirt. Every speck of soil represents lost money and potential equipment damage. Even at this early cleaning stage, mechanical systems work overtime to remove gross debris, while automated selectors use sensors and scanners to evaluate size, shape, and color. Those too small, bruised, or with obvious defects get diverted to other uses. Meanwhile, human inspectors perform rapid visual checks to catch what the machines might miss, because raw material comes from a real field, not a perfect environment. When production calls, storage moves like a live warehouse. Bins and containers descend onto power lines, and potatoes are dispatched to the factory. Upon arrival, a fully loaded truck gets lifted on a hydraulic platform and tilted. The cargo slides into a funnel, transforming into a river of potatoes. Before any processing begins, quality control collects samples and measures critical parameters, like water content and general conditions. This is a crucial checkpoint because the same potato with different moisture conditions will behave completely differently during frying. Industrial washing begins here, and it's far more intense than you'd expect. Even though potatoes have already been cleaned upstream, at the factory they're washed again and again. This isn't just about hygiene. A single small stone is enough to chip a blade or block a delicate system. The washing combines high-pressure water jets, brushes, and a vortex that spins each potato to remove earth and debris. The capacity is enormous. Millions of potatoes per day can pass through this section without interrupting the flow. After washing, potatoes enter rotating drums lined with abrasive material for peeling. As the cylinder rotates, potatoes roll and scrub against each other, gradually consuming and loosening the skin. Continuous water jets wash away the peel and keep surfaces cool to prevent friction from heating the product. Next comes optical inspection. High-speed cameras identify dark spots, imperfections, and areas still unpeeled. If something's wrong, an air jet or mechanical diverter ejects the potato from the line. Then standardization kicks in, the key word for the entire process. You don't want random chips. You want identical cooking, same curve, same resistance. The selector separates potatoes by size, with those in the ideal range continuing forward while oversized pieces get cut first. The most iconic moment follows: the cutting. Potatoes are fed into an internal rotating slicer where centrifugal force pushes each potato toward the edge, where a crown of ultra-thin blades works without stopping. In a fraction of a second, a single potato transforms into dozens of uniform slices, with typical thickness around 0.6 millimeters. Here, precision is everything. Too thick and they become heavy. Too thin and they break or fry irregularly. The slices immediately fall into water, and this step seems simple, but serves a specific purpose that could ruin everything if done wrong. They're removing surface starch. If too much starch remains, the slices will stick together during frying, and the crispiness will change completely. This is why chips pass through a sequence of pools and splashes: immersion, rinse, another wash, and one more cleaning step. At the end, a dripping and drainage system reduces excess water before frying. Get this wrong, and millions of potato slices become an expensive mistake. Here we are at the heart of the factory: continuous frying. Imagine a fryer over 12 meters long, like a river of moving vegetable oil where slices enter transparent and exit golden. The typical temperature hovers around 175 degrees Celsius, and residence time is about 3 minutes. But parameters aren't fixed. They're regulated by batch, humidity, and potato density. Even how the cuts float and move in the oil provides useful tips for calibrating the cooking. During frying, the main transformation occurs. Water evaporates, and part of it gets replaced by oil. For this reason, oil is continuously replenished and filtered to remove micro-residues that would darken the product over time. Many lines work with a controlled mixture between new oil and oil already in use. It's a practical balance to maintain constant color and flavor. Sensors, samples, and visual checks help prevent drift, because the result can no longer be prepared, but must always be cooked the same way. Once they exit, the chips are fragile and can't be handled like a piece of metal or a bottle. Just one wrong drop and they turn to crumbs. The transport section vibrates and moves with delicacy, with belts, slides, and transfer points designed to advance slices without jolts, almost as if they're sliding in controlled fashion to the next step. But it doesn't end there. Another optical inspection system checks already fried chips. We're talking about hundreds of pieces per second. The machine searches for imperfections, light spots, burned or broken edges. When it finds something non-standard, a directed air jet pushes that piece into a waste channel. It's invisible control to the buyer, but essential for having a bag of uniform and presentable chips. Now the base is ready for salt and flavorings. For classics, first comes light salting, while chips are still hot. Then the seasoning station enters the game. Chips pass into a large rotating drum, where a mixture of spices and flavors gets distributed uniformly. The drum rotates just enough to cover both sides without accumulations, with residual heat helping adhesion. Next comes packaging mathematics. A multi-head weighing system, often with more than 100 independent heads, combines small portions to hit the exact weight for each bag. The machine calculates in real time the best combination, downloads the dose, and moves to the next bag thousands of times per day. The bag gets filled, and before sealing, nitrogen gets injected. Nitrogen replaces oxygen and delays rancidity, while maintaining aroma and crispiness. Plus, it creates that internal cushioning that seems like wasted air, but actually protects chips against impacts during transport. From here, the pace picks up again. Bags end up in cardboard boxes. Boxes get stacked and palletized, often with automated systems. Finally, plastic film wrapping consolidates everything into a single stable volume. It's the last barrier before logistics. A pallet must resist vibrations, temperature changes, and continuous movements without crushing the contents. And so, from potato harvested in the field to chips in the package, each step is a controlled compromise between speed and delicacy, between standardization and natural raw material. The invisible enemy of inconsistency lurks at every stage, waiting to turn precision into chaos. Next time you open a bag, try to think of these steps: washing, cameras, blades, oil, seasoning drums, nitrogen, and pallets. If you want to see us enter another food factory, leave a like and write in the comments what product you'd like to see. And if a particular detail caught your attention, tell me which one.